The main problem is the traffic, because the main thing about the traffic problem is that people working on the European side live in the Asian side, so they have to cross the bridge every day, kilometers away. But there must be more solutions, more than architecture, I believe. I don't know, if you're working in the European side, the residentials in the European side may be discounted to you, stuff like this, I don't know. But we need to get rid of this traffic problem, but to do this you really need a big D. Really, you need a big D to make a solution like this, because millions of people are living in the city. Our last presentation is from Strootman Landscape Architects. He's the owner of this landscape architect of Strootman Architects. The presentation's name is "The City is a Landscape." Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome tonight's last but not the least presenter, Mr. Berno Strootman.
Thank you very much.
Another tall guy.
I've been in Istanbul now for a few days. The presentation was made before, but the story is an impression also of the last days. What we have seen in Istanbul the last few days is that there are a lot of building going on. A lot of money is put in there, a lot of investments, and a lot of money has been gained or is being gained. And we believe that the new buildings should not generate only money, but should also generate a good quality city. The buildings are now very isolated. It's like most of the projects are like building islands, and the question is what remains of all the space in between the islands. We feel that there should be a stronger counterweight from the public side, the public planning side, versus the market, so there will be a new balance. And there's a good example of this in your history. This is Henri Prost, a Frenchman, who designed the first master plan for Istanbul. And he was focusing on three main items, which is transportation, hygiene and aesthetics. And we think that from this past, from this attitude of planning, we can still learn for the future. Which means it can be a more sustainable city, starting with seeing a city as a landscape. Which means that just look at it and it is a landscape. You can see all the hills and all the valleys in it. There are just a few buildings on it. But if you treat it as a landscape, it means that you treat it as one system. And in this system are buildings, but you also you pay attention for what is in between them. The second step is to understand how this landscape works, which means, from some examples of our work, that you understand the water system. How does it work? How does the drinking water basins relate to the river? How do all other systems work? The ecological system, the transport system, etc. We've been working for London also, in which relations between two parts of the River Lee are important. Also there, we started with looking at the mechanisms, looking at how the water system worked, inventing ways of walking alongside the river, of flooding areas, etc. And also a focus on public space. What we see in Istanbul is that the attention to public space is very little. I really like the story of the photographer who promoted to make a big park. You can make green structures, you can make park systems in Istanbul, and in that and alongside that there could be the new buildings. Some more examples of the water system. The water infiltrates here. Another project is the Wieringen Passage. It's a new lake with islands in it, and the water system here is the carrier of the new development. There are 2,000 new houses, there's new nature, there's new transport, there's a new river basin, there's a new lake which is a carrier of sweet water, and there's also a new shipping route passing by. So it's also an integrated way of designing these kind of developments. And this integrated development doesn't mean only working with water and nature, but also with infrastructure. This is a new a project close to Amsterdam. Here is Amsterdam, for a new highway. This is the old highway, and this will be the new highway with an aqueduct, with a new lake, housing, new nature on it, and it's all in one integrated design. And what we see is that this integrated design can have a lot of results, not only in terms that the water system works, but also that you can enjoy it as a nature area or as a park. Infrastructure planning is also very important, according to our opinion. And we heard the discussion about the third bridge. This is a study we did for new infrastructure in the eastern part of the country. And this is a suggestion of where the new infrastructure could be. Or in fact, it's a discussion which already has been going on for ages. By putting the infrastructure on a certain place, you invite urban development. And by this way, it's a very good steering instrument on how to steer urban development. This is also an integrated design for infrastructure, a new water system, water carriage as well. And we feel that it's also very important to work together with the people who live in the city. And we also heard that also the attention to public space means that you have to work with the people who live around this public space. And we also heard that it could be a bit more in here. And then if you work with the systems, if you understand the system, if you understand how the transportation works, how the water system works, how the ecology works, and also of course how the city works, and what kind of program is needed, there's time for play. There's time for play in the design. And this motto is one very important one for our office. Be very precise, very meticulously on the analysis and the concept stage. But then if it's all set, then it's time to play and to put, well, nice designs. Be playful. We work a lot with artists. This is a garden in France. The one before was a public square. This is a square in Dublin, Ireland, and where first we had to puzzle on how to integrate the tram line and also the relation with the river and the built structure on the level of the part of the city. And then when this was all said and done, we could focus on the playing with green parts and sitting areas. This is a water purification park. So this is also an integrated design. It's an area of 9 hectares that purifies water, and in the same time it's a park, and it's ecological, very valuable in the meantime, and there's also art instruments. So what I would like to say is that we would like to promote integrated design, and we would also like to invest money not only in the buildings but also in the public space around it, and by doing that generate a wonderful Istanbul with good public space, nice parks, a good great green frame, public transport, and of course a new central park. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this lovely presentation. Do you like dressing the same color usually?
Yes, I like
really?
it. Yeah, not all the time, but I do. Yeah.
Really, I like that. There's a famous director in Turkey, that is Sinan Çetin. He always wears the same black suit all the time. They always think he stinks. No, he has hundreds of them, the same suits.
But he's probably an architect. Architects wear black.
Architect of the mind, maybe. He's a movie director, maybe. Of the emotions, of the perception. Ladies and gentlemen, do you have any questions for our last presentation? No? Yes, ma'am.
Thanks for your presentation.
It works.
Okay. Can you give me
a little louder, please?
Can you give examples of sustainable or more ideal cities in the scale of Istanbul, and which problems has Istanbul that other cities doesn't have? So which main? So it's very shortly, please.
Yes, I think there are cities, mega cities the size of Istanbul, who are facing the same problems Istanbul has, but also some examples where even on a metropolitan level things are arranged better, I would say, from my point of view. London is one, Paris is one, I think New York has arranged things better. I think if you look at the past, the area of Alain Prost, it's already a long time ago, but in that time there was a big focus on the design of the city as a whole. And I'm not pretending that I know all what's going on here. I've just studied some and I've looked around, but I have the impression that nowadays urban design, urban planning and focus on public spaces is lacking now. There is a lot of focus on the whole city building looks like a big money machine where buildings are investments, where people buy apartments as investments, and it doesn't matter as long as besides that there's also a quality city generated. But it seems that the focus there is lacking, and I think that's in fact a lacking of the government, the local and also the regional government, the metropolitan government. In my opinion, there should be a good balance between what the public is regulating and what the market is doing. And if that's a good balance, then everybody can do what they like and they will generate a nice city. I have the impression, not more than that in Istanbul there's a lot of focus on building buildings, which are in fact islands, they're isolated projects, and that there's not a lot of focus on building the city. And well, that's what I think should be done more. Yeah.
One more question. No? Okay. Thank you very much for the stellar presentation. Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye. Yes. Yes. Mr. Koi? Mr. Koi, are you here? The Satan is calling. He loved the presentation. I had to do that. Actually, I messed it around there because I was finding the song. It just started playing. Damn, the Exorcist theme. And this is Siri. Hey Siri, how have you been? Thank you. Yes. No woman talks to me. This was our last presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for attending. Yok değil mi? No showgirls? Okay, she's saying no showgirls today. It was a lovely, I believe. I enjoyed it very much. I hope you did also. Thank you very much. Hope to see you soon again. Our next PechaKucha in a few months. Please keep in touch and you will see when it will happen. We hope to see you again. And please, a big applause for the team working there. Please, they're working hard. Except this guy. I don't like you. You know the Hangover movie, they're making the third part in Amsterdam. But tonight we're gonna shoot our own movie, yes. Who wants to be Hangover? Just join us. We're doing an after party. You can ask the details to Denise. She will inform you. Yes. She's buying the drinks. No, that was a joke. No. No, Mr. Koi is buying the drinks for tonight. Satan cocktail. No, a red one. So please join us. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.